How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about SNDL Sundial growers. Of course, I got to make sure I keep you guys inside of the loop because you guys know what the strategy already is. So I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to be going over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at support, resistance, and the move that we are looking forward to seeing from SNDL. The reason why this is so key because we want to be able to make profits on the spikes. And then secondly, we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information. We want to know, are institutions buying up shares? Are they putting in filings? And of course, we want to see, are shorts still heavily vested inside of this play and by what degree? And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution, where institutions taking part in large scale orders on the Friday. We want to know because this can have an impact on the stock price. We're going to find out. And then when all of that is done, we'll be jumping into the final thoughts. So let's get to it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for SNDL Sundial growers. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at 80 cents as far as being down 1.88% on the day. On the low, it tested 79 cents, and then on the high, testing 81 cents. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, we traded at 64.365 million shares. And as far as for the average volume over 10 trading days, it was at 93.622 million shares. So with that said, we did have some below average volume, and with the Friday coming around, we had some selling pressure, but it wasn't down by much. So now when we take a look at the 1 year daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it is right around 44.32. So we are in the oversold territory. Now, when we take a look at our chart now, we are below the 100 day, we're also below the 200 day, and we're also below the 21 day EMA. And of course, you can see the downtrend that SNDL's been on. So one of the things that we want to continue to see hold up is this area of support right here around 78, 79 cents. We've seen this being a continuous area, so we're looking forward to seeing a move to the upside, especially with earnings right around the corner on August the 12th. I do see some anticipation. I do see a spike, and it's part of the reasons why I was loading in that 70-cent range, looking forward to seeing that move. Will SNDL be able to get to $1? I get this question a lot. Of course, this is going to come with a lot of buying volume. If we have a lot of buying volume coming into the stock, then of course, one thing I do see before we actually do potentially hit $1, there's going to be a lot of selling pressure. There's a lot of people who are in this particular price range and they just want to kind of sell off the stock. So what we want to see is the buying actually superseding all of the selling. So with that said, if we end up getting that scenario, then of course we can get to $1 and see some momentum above it. But at the same time, what I'm seeing in my personal opinion, we could see we have some resistance right here around this 88-cent level. I know you guys are very clear about that, but do keep in mind if we do get there, we are above the 21-day EMA and as well as the 200-day. So things could start looking fairly bullish there, especially for any traders that might be inside of this play. So we'll continue to be patient and see if we get that spike for that earnings run up. So we're on Fintel. We're going to take a look at the institutional ownership and short interest information for SNDL. So as we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So we can see down below, we're looking at August the 6th activity. So we have Bridgewater Advisors going in with 470,000 shares. So that's definitely bullish right there. And we also have Tamar Securities that went and purchased 19,900 shares. So that is definitely some things that we need to take a look at. And we also have Hightower Advisors that went in with some call options as well. So we do see institutions are purchasing shares of SNDL. So now let's take a look at the short interest. So as we scroll down on the page, the short shares availability is at 10 million, updated 3 minutes ago. And as far as for the short borrow free rate, it is at 1.21%. Taking a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see it's 54.86 for the close of Friday, August the 6th. And on the 5th, it was at 49.1. So it definitely has gone up quite a bit. So what does this mean? SNDL still continues to have short squeeze potential. And with that said, we do know they have earnings that is coming up. So there should be some anticipation. So we can look forward to getting that spike that we want to see inside of the stock. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for SNDL. So we can see here on the inflow, it was at 18.10, and on the outflow, it was 14.24. So we had an inflow day. When we take a look at the large side for the inflows, it was 0.75. Keep in mind, this is in the millions. And as far as on the medium, it was 10.32. And on the small, it was 7.03. On the outflow side, on the medium, because it was 0 on the large, we had 9.98. And on the small, we had 4.26. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, we could see for Friday, August the 6th, 746.42. You guys know we've been tracking this for quite some time on the channel. We did not see any big inflow days whatsoever for large scale orders, so institutions are now getting involved. So what do we want to look forward to? You guys know the game plan. I'll go over it again in the final thoughts, but this is definitely great to see. And part of the reasons why it's so important, why we cover this portion of the video in regards to order flows. This is exciting. Let's jump into the final thoughts. So for my final thoughts for SNDL Sundial growers, I'm looking forward to seeing how well it performs leading up into earnings. And here are the reasons why. When we went on Fintel, it still continues to have short squeeze potential. Shorts are still heavily vested inside of this play, and we know if we have a lot of buying volume coming into the stock, we can get that spike that we're actually looking for. We also do see institutions have been purchasing shares. They've been putting in filings, so that is also good to see. And also when we take a look at the technical setup and the strategy that's in play, we've been loading up in that 70-cent range. This was a key area. Anyone who's loading up when it was in the mid 80s or you're in the 90s or even in the dollar range, of course, you're not going to be able to capitalize as of yet. You'd have to wait for SNDL to spike well above $1 to get to your cost price. But for the people who got inside the 70-cent range and who were accumulating just like myself, things are looking good. Even when we took a look at the order flow distribution, we see institutions were loading up on shares on Friday. So this is part of the reasons why when it comes to your entries, you have to be patient. You guys are now ahead of the game. Institutions are just now thinking to load up, and they did it on Friday, and I'm looking forward to seeing this actually continue going into the next week. Of course, there's going to be some volatility, and you need to figure out what your profit targets are going to be. And this is why you can't get your emotions in the way. Don't let greed get in the way. Or some people might say, well, you know, I'm going to wait for it to hit $1. If you're going to do that, by all means, you go ahead and do that. For myself, I tend to look for at least 10 to 12% when I'm playing SNDL. And once I get that, then hey, I'm protecting my profits. So as far as for yourself, figure out what's going to make you happy. Because I might be happy with saying, well, you know what? I want to take 10 to 12%, but what if the stock runs up 20, 25, 30%, or even 50%? Then people are going to be like, well, you said to take profits at 10 and now it's above 40, 50%. So that's why I have a goal for myself as far as profits. So you need to figure out one that's right for you. So at least if it doesn't go your way in regards to your game plan, the only person you can blame is yourself. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.